Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. I'm here with Patrick Parnell. How you doing, buddy? This is the first time I've ever met you.
Yeah. It's good. It's good to meet you. I've heard a lot about you. We have a mutual friend, Mike.
Right.
I'm sure he's watching.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about first. It's the weirdest thing because I've been talking to people about comics for like a couple of years now. You're doing comics and everything like that. I backed one of your campaigns. I got Ultra Star. I liked it a lot. And then my friend Mike goes, I know that guy. He's been drawing my character for years. And I was like, what do you, you know what I mean? Like, what do you, he goes, nah, I go down to, what is it? Heroes Con, right?
No, well, I first met Mike at MegaCon.
Okay. Yeah. So if those of you don't know what we're talking about, why would you? We're talking about my childhood friend, Mike. Mike and I worked together. We worked at the comic book store together. We went to grammar school together. And, life gets in the way. We go, and he's like, I know, Pat, he should come on your channel. And I was like, all right, so.
Yeah, it's a very small world. Because I hadn't seen Mike in a while, and then it was just interesting, just kind of coming across him online,
Right.
And then when I saw him at Heroes Con, he was like, "You need to go on my friend John Longbox." I was like, I love John Longbox. Of course, I'll go on his show.
It's a small world. Yeah, Mike did a comic called Marshall Strong, and he's been showing me your art. You've been drawing his character for years. He's been commissioning you to.
Yeah. If you like, one of my oldest videos on my YouTube channel is a time lapse video of me doing a piece for him.
Yeah, and it's funny because guys are going to tease me again because every time I turn on the camera, I end up talking about role playing games. But Mike is literally the guy who taught me. I might as well bring this out. The role-playing game that started this whole thing. Villains Vigilantes.
Mike. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I've heard about that.
Mike, I was playing Dungeons and Dragons with my buddies. He bought it. He found it and taught it to me. And then I was like, give me that. And he made up his character, Marshall Strong. And we were like 14-year-old kids. He's playing this character for 20 years in a role-playing game.
That's awesome. You guys are still friends too.
Yeah. We were literally born next door to each other. That's fun. I could tell you embarrassing stories, but he got married. He's 2 years older than me. He got married and started a family late. So like, I'll call him and he'd be like, I got to put the kids to sleep. I can't really talk right now. Like last night, I called him. I was like, yeah, Patrick's coming on. Yeah, I can't really talk right now. I'll watch the video and I'll call. So I'll get my friend back in a couple of years when the kids can babysit themselves. We got Oscar. How you doing, Oscar? Oscar's doing colors for me, and we're doing. Is it really a secret project if I tell everybody it's a secret project? So Oscar's doing a secret project for me. How you doing? Good to see you. I'm just addressing the chat.
We got Ryan. Baz is cool.
And Marcus, I guess.
Yeah, Marcus.
Marcus is the Forrest Gump of the comic book world. He knows everybody. And this is we might as well talk about this. So you have a live project right now. Let's.
Well, I mean, it's not live quite yet. I have kind of like a small kind of catch-up campaign that we're going to be doing during Tampa Bay.
Okay, let me bring that up. Old man working the technology over here. There we go. This is what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. So me and Dan Fraga are going to be at Tampa Bay, and we might, we're going to have a surprise guest there too that I'm not allowed to say quite yet, but it's a small campaign that we're going to have, kind of like I was saying, like a catch-up campaign. I had a boost of subs on my YouTube channel in the past couple of months. So I've got a lot of new people kind of floating around. So I wanted to give them an opportunity to kind of jump in there. Now in this campaign, it's a limited amount of stuff. It's not infinite. It's just like small amounts, like 5s, 3s of things. Yeah, so it's basically, and then like there's going to be convention sketches and art. I've always done this. I've done this for MegaCon. I did it for Tampa Bay last year, and it's like not everyone can make it to conventions, so I kind of like offering the exclusives or art or sketches for people who can't make the cons.
Okay. Yeah. It's
So
good. And I'll bring you got something else. I'm gonna bring up your other campaign if I could figure out how to work things properly. Because like I say, I'm not a boomer. I just look like one. Although I look younger without my beard. All right, we got you got action figures. You are a big into action figures, right?
yeah, well, I mean, GI Joe, Transformers. That's why I'm here. And that's it. Kind of what got me into comic books was GI Joe, Transformers, the cartoons, and then kind of moving over to comics after that. And I've always wanted to do a GI Joe style figure. So I'm doing a comic book with Mark Polton, fantastic writer.
Yep, Mark's been on
Um,
my channel. Great guy. I love his
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah, and then we're gonna be doing an action figure of my character, American Ninja, and an action figure of his character, the U.S. Assassin.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
yeah, yeah. So, and this is the sign up right now. We're still getting the prototypes made. Uh, I mean, my prototype is made, but we're working on the U.S. Assassin prototype right now, and that's going to be done shortly.
How much does it cost to make an action figure? I mean, I can understand if you don't want to blur it out.
That's classified, sir.
Yeah, that's classified. I realized as I was saying it, that's probably not something you want to talk about over.
Well, I mean, it ain't cheap.
It ain't cheap. Yeah,
It ain't cheap. I'll say that. But I don't know, like when I did my Last of the Seekers campaign, which is it's kind of like my Iron Giant robot type story. I wanted to do a robot. It was one of the first things I said when I started, doing indie comics, and now we're moving over to the GI Joe side of things. But no, I mean I'm excited for this. I went to Joe Fest this year. I shot the prototype, got a lot of positive feedback from it.
As I scroll down, this is better looking than I thought with all these accessories.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. It comes with, and we're making more accessories too. Like we're gonna have like stretch goals. Like some of the stretch goals are gonna be like compound bow size. We're actually thinking about giving him like kind of like a Captain America style shield as well. But
does he
yeah,
ever take his mask off? Like, will there be like a naked, not a naked face, but a bare face and a masked face?
well, so if you take off his goggles, he's got like human eyes.
Okay.
But if you buy the American Ninja and the U.S. Assassin, he comes with a human head.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which is going to be a surprise that we're going to hold off until it goes live. But it's going to be
it was a surprise.
it's going to be a face that everyone kind of recognizes. But yeah, so I mean, no, I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
What up, Brian?
Cool. Smokey the Concat. Hey, PTP. How well did it come together? I thought Mike was against. I have no idea what this is. Sometimes comments come up and it's like almost code.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh no, we'll go back to it. Let's see if we can crack the code. I'm trying to.
Hey, PTP. That's you. How did it all come together? So I guess how did this figure come together?
So okay, so Mike is the co-creator of a U.S. Assassin, fantastic artist, great guy, and so there was like, so when I first this character is from Johnny Phantasm, another one of my books. And when I was making the figure, it started to kind of look a little bit close to a U.S. Assassin. So I asked, before I showed anyone it, I showed Mark Polton the figure, and I was like, does this look too much like your figure? And he was like, no, it's fine. It's definitely different enough. But Mike thought I was kind of biting their style a little bit. And then we talked about it and we hashed it out, and then instead of like arguing about it, I was like, let's work together. Like and that's something that like Mark and I talk a lot about is we could have sat here and argued about it, or we found a way to work together instead.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Working together. Go figure.
Yeah, I mean, like we can sit here and argue, or we can be professional.
So I just, you've lost weight. I've lost weight. I'm the last time I saw you, I put up a picture of it and you were like, man, that's not the best picture.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I was like, I think that picture, I was like 35 pounds heavier. I've lost some lbs.
I
You got a neck brace on.
I was in an accident 2 weeks ago, and I've just been stir crazy. I'm not allowed to do anything. I'm not allowed to drive. I'm not allowed. For those of you who don't know, I fractured my neck, so I got to keep my neck moved. So I'm not doing any of the things I want to do, and I still lost 14 pounds. So the only difference is I shaved my beard. So the only logical explanation is I had a 14-pound beard. Maybe there was some stuff in my hair that I didn't notice. But yeah. And congratulations, you're going to be a dad.
That's right. That's right. My wife is 11, 12 weeks pregnant right now. I'm very excited. We're a third of the way through.
Oh, is this your first?
It is my first.
Oh,
old dad.
Oh, this is an old dad. Well, not as old as our friend Mike.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, like he like when I saw him at Heroes Con, I was asking him about that. Like how's it going being an old dad? Also, thank you so much, Smokey. Another old dad, a friend of mine, is Adam Kuber. Adam Kuber had his daughter when he was 50. So he was one of my instructors at the school, and I wrote him and was like, you have any old dad tips?
Yeah.
And he was, he said, stay in shape, because he's like, you're gonna have to be able to keep up with that kid.
Oh, yeah. Mike, before he had kids, he had a dad bod.
Yeah.
now he's in good shape. He's running around with little kids, and he brought his kids over to my house for the first time, and I got after like 3 hours, I was like, get him out of here. I can't keep up with this. This is what I guess that. So there you go. You're gonna get some exercise. J-Bot is asking, what time did I go to bed? J-Bot and I talked last night for hours, since I don't have a curfew anymore. And then when we went offline, we still talked, and I was drinking coffee. I had to go to sleep like 5 o'clock in the morning because no work, no schedule, nothing.
You get lost.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you. You have a couple of your own IPs, right? Johnny Phantasm is yours.
Johnny Phantasm. Well, that's me, and co-created with a fantastic writer named Evan Pozios. He used to jam on that with me. It's just me now, though. Okay. And then Ultrastar, which is kind of like my love letter to like Shazam, Silver Surfer, a lot of those type of characters. Mr. Majestic.
For some, I just like the costume so much. Like I didn't know who you are. I didn't know anything, and I so you know what I mean. I was just like, I like that costume and I like the design, and I bought it to the point. That Mike was like, this is the guy I'm talking about. You have his comic.
Well, I did it. So when I was in college, like my thesis was actually, I did a graphic novel of Ultrastar. And I wanted to go back and always revisit it. And I'm pretty sure that Mike bought the original trade.
He said I had Ultrastar before it was cool. He
and then I wrapped up. I think it was Johnny Phantasm 1985, and I wanted to take a little break from Johnny Phantasm, so I revisited Ultrastar, and I think it went pretty well. I got 2 more to do of Ultrastar, so I'm actually going to be getting back to that hopefully in the spring, and I'm going to do 2 and 3 probably back to back, just kind of knock them out, just so I can kind of finish that. And then we have Last of the Seekers, which is a kind of like a Iron Giant type of Robotech Diaclone type story. And then we got the new one is American Ninja X. But he's actually from the Johnny Phantasm universe.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
All Star its own universe? They'll never interact.
Well, so they're all. I mean, everything that I create all kind of like intertwines with each other. So like everything is kind of it's all in the same universe. And if you pay close attention, you can definitely see it. And as I'm getting through more books, more there's more clues being dropped.
Okay. As I'm looking at it, I just realized something. I got to show you something. This is my character, the patriarch. I just realized it looks like you.
Kind of, except for his gray is the opposite of
Yeah,
mine.
you got the opposite gray. Yeah, you got the forked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that why you have this the olive leaves
Yeah,
around?
that's his symbol. He's got the yeah, he's the character for my comics called Heroic Tales. Issue number 1 features the patriarch, so he's like a super heroic father figure, and the Roman laurel symbol for victory. Here, I'll show you. I got these coins made up, so.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then it says Heroic Tales on the other side.
Are those like slammers for like pogs?
No, these are challenge coins.
Oh, okay.
Same company that made them for Graham Nolan, same company that made them for Mike Barron.
That's cool.
Yeah. I got like 20 of them made, man. Those are expensive. So let's see. You got the action figure going right now, and you got the con convention going. Any active campaigns for comics or anything you're planning on doing? Like what's next? You're going to do a comic with the American Ninja. I just saw that 24 pages.
Yeah. So we're doing a 24-page comic to go along with American Ninja. I'm looking forward to doing that. Zorro, that's right. Also, I was working on that a little bit today. That's going to be going to the printers very soon.
Yeah, Zorro's public domain. All of a sudden, everybody's doing Zorro.
Yeah, no one's doing it like me though. I think people are going to be a little freaked out when they read mine. But I'm intertwining it with the Phantasm world because there's a little bit of well, I don't want to give too much away, but it's called Johnny Phantasm, or it's called Zorro and the Phantasm Cult of Hollywood Hills. So it's kind of intertwined with Johnny Phantasm, and if you pay close attention, you can see how the Phantasm starts off in Hollywood and ends up in Detroit.
Is it like a period piece? Is it set in the past?
Yeah. So, I like putting, especially with the Phantasm universe, I like putting dates on stuff. So it's called 1955. It's called
perfect.
Zorro and the Phantasm Cult of Hollywood Hills, 1955.
Something about Zorro. He seems like I don't think he would work in 2024.
Well, I think maybe, I don't know. I actually messed around with an idea of doing him in the 80s for a little while. But
the 80s is 40 years ago too.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy to think that the 80s are like 40 years ago now.
I know.
Vampire Hunter. No, but that is a good idea.
Yeah, like it, and then the 80s. Remember they did the Phantom movie. They did the Rocketeer.
Mm-hmm.
Like they did a revival of like all those King Feature Syndicate and likewise characters. And I think time is now ripe for return of all those old cool pulp figures.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Alex Toth fan. So I really loved his Zorro stuff. And I also loved the Fox as well, which Alex Toth worked on.
You and Oscar loves that's what he talks about Alex Toth all the time.
Really? So it's interesting how I got interested in the Fox and the Zorro and Alex Toth. Erwin Hazen was my one of my instructors at the Cubert School. He's a old school golden age comic book artist who worked on Green Lantern, Alan Scott Green Lantern. He worked on Wonder Woman, but he also created the Fox. And in his studio, Alex Toth used to come in his studio when Alex Toth was like 12, 13 years old and hang out these older guys who were like 21, 22 years old. So Alex Toth, when he got older, he wanted to work on the Fox because that was, like one of his mentors created that. But instead of that, he worked on Zorro first, which Zorro means fox in Spanish. Right. I've always been a huge fan of Irwin's. I'm a huge fan of Alex Toth's. So, I was kind of searching for some open domain stuff, and I saw that Zorro was open domain. So I was like, let's do something with Zorro. And I'm not doing like an ongoing series or anything like that. I just wanted to do a one shot, one and done. And I'm doing something a little bit different with it. Again, if you guys ordered it, thank you. During the Tampa campaign, I'm having another opportunity for people to grab a copy. But by the time that we go to Tampa, it should be off at the printers. The Fox thing, man. Yeah, Wildcat. Yeah, he created Wildcat as well.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Oh, cool. Yeah, Oscar knows his comics history.
Yeah, Wildcat is a great character.
Yeah,
I'd like to do something with him too. But
now I know it's open domain, but I'm not familiar with like copyrights and stuff like that. Like I know everybody's doing a Steamboat Willie, Mickey Mouse, and the Pooh and stuff. Could you get
that's what we're doing next? We're doing Steamboat Willie and the Phantasm.
Could you get yourself in trouble? Like, is there something you need to?
So I mean, I did a lot of research in it. I didn't just jump in because I didn't want to get in trouble, and
right.
So I did some research, and because I saw that I saw that someone had a logo Zorro that was trademarked.
Right.
And so I reached out to them and I asked them about it, and just kind of doing some investigating. All they really owned was the logo. They didn't own.
Right. That's a whole different thing. A logo.
Yeah.
Character, the logo. Everything is different. So that's what I'm saying. People who are like Superman's going up in public domain in X amount of years. You got to be careful.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting when Batman is open domain, right. but there's like with Zorro, there's only a certain version of Zorro.
Correct. Yeah.
That is open domain. It's not like I can't do the Antonio Banderas Zorro, or I'm not even sure if I can. Oh, really? I didn't know Irwin taught at SVA. That's cool. Well, I guess that would make sense. He probably lived like right down the street from there, at School of Visual Arts in New York City.
Raz wants to know, how could he get a copy?
No, well, it'll, like I was saying, like we're gonna have that's why we're having the little mini campaign, like so people can go ahead and grab it, along with some other things. But yeah, so there's a certain version of Zorro that you're allowed to do, but I mean, I'm going really off the rails with mine. I'm basically just using just the suit, it's not the guy's name. I don't want to give too much away, but
right, it's hard to tell. It's hard to give the examples when you don't want to give spoilers.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I mean, basically, we're just using this suit, and it's a little bit kind of tongue in cheek as well. Once you read it, you'll understand what I mean. But I wanted to find like a different way to do something like this. And I think we did it. So I'm excited for people to read it. I mean, it's gonna be one of those things that I can check off my list. And again, it's kind of like my love letter to Irwin and Toth and stuff like that. So I'm gonna be happy once I'm done with it.
Yeah, my dad was a big fan of like Flash Gordon and the Shadow and Zorro. So like this.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to do like a whole series of like Ryan Press's version of
Give him a lightsaber. There you go. That'll make them different.
I wanted to do a whole series of like Riot Press versions of like the Phantom and Flash Gordon and stuff like that. And I was messing around with that idea, but then I was like, no, I have too many of my own ideas that I want to do. So I'm glad I got in there and got to do some Zorro action.
I
Get
worked
in
with
there.
a guy. He was I forget exactly. He was a Central American guy. We were, I was his apprentice. So I was working for him. Very handsome guy and very lively. Just like he talked like Ricky Ricardo. I want to say he was from Cuba, but I forget, so long ago. And he would play music as we were working, and he would be like dancing. He was just the most loved. And he used to say that his wife called him Zorro. So that kind of became his nickname. Like, hey, Zorro, how you doing? And he loved it. So one day I said, so what is Zora doing? Meaning his wife. And he got pissed at me. He goes, you never call a Spanish woman Zora.
It's like calling her a dog.
Realized that you know what I mean? It's okay to call him Zorro, but you don't call a woman Zora. I was like, he knew I meant it like innocently and everything. And then he went right back to, I kind of miss him. I haven't seen him in years. One of the bad things about construction is you say hello to a lot of people, but you also say goodbye to a lot of people, Oh, we got Heroenberg, one of the very first people to ever reach out to me. Fun to see you back at the castle again, PTP. I played a show there in 1997 while on tour with the Goth. That's right. This guy was a musician. Good luck in Tampa. Are you a musician too? Is that what he is alluding to?
Well, no. I think he's like, so like last year at Tampa, like we all went to the castle, and it like the castle's a goth club.
Oh, okay.
It's a little white bread, but like people kind of blew it out of proportion of what the
castle is this was. That whole stupid thing? Yeah,
okay. Yeah, but no, the castle is great. I've seen some bands play there as well. I saw V Nation play there before. I don't know if we're going back. Like we kind of went just because we were a big group before. Fraga and I got a pretty sweet hotel that's right on the water. We have like a balcony and stuff like that. So we might just have some people back over at the room and just kind of hang out there. But 1997, I guess that's when I started going to the castle too.
Yeah, I know Heroenberg was a musician before.
Well, I returned to Heroes Con again. Yeah, I mean, like I like Heroes Con a lot. Like Heroes Con, is a super hardcore Comic Con. I think it's like one of the last ones that
everybody raves about it. And Mike goes there every year with my other childhood friends, and every year I get invited, and every year I just.
I mean, I like it because there's serious collectors there. I saw a lot of art there, and a lot of comics. I mean, we sold a lot of toys there. I was surprised. I mean, I sold a lot of toys. I didn't bring that many with me because I didn't think we were going to sell that many, but we sold quite a few.
Everybody says it's like an old school Comic Con. People there know their comics.
It's like the last real good comic book convention, because I mean now like MegaCon, San Diego, like all those cons, New York Comic Con, like they're all like
they're pop culture cons.
They're pop culture conventions.
My wife and I used to go to New York Comic Con every year, and we used to like it. We used to make the whole day out of it, and we used to see like one of the last times. It wasn't one of the last times, but it was one of the first times where Carmine Infantino gave a panel, and we were talking to these old timers and everything. And then last time we went, it was movie deals and TV shows. Mm-hmm. It had nothing to do with comics. I didn't like it. And I remember the vendors were telling me that they were pissed because they spent a fortune to get a prime space in the Javits Center. And everybody there was just either dressed up as Mystique or Harley Quinn to take photos, and nobody was buying comics. They were like, when I came over to look at comics, they were like, finally, like usually you elbowing people because everybody's crap. But I was like, where is everybody? They're like, nobody's buying comics. Everybody's into, manga and movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have serious collectors and you have hilarious collectors. Yeah. Yeah. I my buddy Jimmy works. He's a cameraman and he freelances. He does the San Diego Comic Con every year. and he says it's less comics, more movies. Like, you know, if you're into the Marvel Universe movies, that's where the announcements are. I never,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It's too crowded, and like I would rather go to Heroes Con. This sounds exactly what I want. It sounds like it's about comic books.
Yeah, I think you would like Heroes Con.
Do you live near there? You're in Florida, right?
I'm in Florida, but I used to live in New Jersey. I mean, I'm from New Jersey.
Oh, you okay? Yeah. I for some reason I thought you were also in Charlotte, near Marcus. Marcus seems to be near everybody. I used to go to New York Comic Con and Wizard World Philly, not anymore. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Wizard World Philly was pretty good there for a hot minute. I used to go there. I think it was like 2007, 2008. I used to go to Philly, but I mean, Philadelphia. Uh, there's not a lot of people running around with extra dough in their pocket in Philadelphia, and so like I saw a decline in how much people were spending, and then finally I opt out of doing Philadelphia.
Yeah, my niece just bought a house in Philadelphia. I think they bought like one of those like $5,000. Here's the house, fix it up kind of thing, and she did a really good job with it. But like, she's only like 22 years old. I'm like, how's the neighborhood? How's the neighborhood? Call me if you need anything. Three Rivers Con in where was that, Pittsburgh?
I guess, yeah.
Are all comic related too, but they're much smaller than here. Yeah, there's a lot of conventions. Since I started doing this channel, people have been talking about local conventions. There's so many that I never even heard of. I'm bummed I missed Heroes Con. I know. Marcus even offered me to stay at his place, and I just couldn't get off work. It's a cesspool now. I live in Philly. I'm in Colorado now.
Yeah.
Garden State in New Jersey was also very comic related. Probably 80% of it was created. Yeah.
I've been meaning to. So that's the Morristown, like where my, that's kind of like where my family's from. Like they've invited me to come every year since before the COVID. I just it always conflicts with other conventions. Like this year, I think it was the same weekend as Joe Fest. So it's like I haven't had the chance to get over there, but I would like to go. I mean, I like Morristown quite a bit. I'd like to go and do a convention there. So I'll be there one of these days.
Yeah, my couple of my, as you can see from behind me, I'm into board games also as much as I'm into comics. I like having people come over. We play games, and my buddies all went to a Gen Con, and that's like the big board gaming convention. And
yeah.
It was dead for COVID. You know what I mean? Like it didn't happen, and then people would trickle. But 80,000 people were at Gen Con this year. So I guess the COVID low numbers is over. Do you find that are comic conventions back?
I mean, it seems to me. I mean, so living in Florida, I never really saw much of a change. Like our shutdown situation here was very short compared to the rest of the.
I was in New York City.
Country.
There was tumbleweeds. I was working in Manhattan, and I remember coming out at lunchtime and nothing in the streets, no cars. It reminded me of that movie I Am Legend. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well, like when I first hit TFCon, Transformer Con was happening, and that got canceled. But I think shortly after that, I think we were only shut down for maybe like 3 months or so. But like we were back going to shows and cons like pretty quickly. MegaCon was opened up, and they tried to make like the MegaCon's opened by Fan Expo, and they're from Canada, and they were trying to make everyone. Yeah, San Diego did look very packed this year. I think San Diego is back now, but anyway, yeah, I mean, like MegaCon.
I'm gonna argue with this comment. I had to move out of New York City. It got bad. I started to get fearful of the way politics was running, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, but no, I MegaCon and all the other conventions that happened in Florida. I mean, it was only a short period of time that they weren't happening. Florida did really good with the shutdown, whatever you want to call it. Luckily, things weren't shut down for too long. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I kind of like the shutdown. I like the driving with no traffic
Um,
out there. I thought that was
I
very
was working
nice.
on the George Washington Bridge during the whole time, and you could drive from Queens up to FDR, and not even see another car. You know,
Really,
I
I can't even imagine what that would look like
but
going
the
over the
bad part
GW
was
Bridge with no one there.
I was just telling this to J-Bot last night. I said the bad part was we were working on the bridge. So I'm a construction worker working on the bridge, and the port authority wouldn't set up barricades and everything because the bridge is empty. You know what I mean? It's not like normal time there would be bumper to bumper traffic. So the bridge is empty. So they just left us alone. But you'd get like one or two guys. How often do you get to go on the George Washington Bridge at 120 miles an hour? Boom!
Yeah,
It was scary, man. We would tell the port authority, you got to be here. You got to put up barricades. There's nobody on the road. We were watching. They'll watch it on a cam. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
it was more dangerous with less travel. When it's jam packed, it's bumper to bumper. But then driving home was fun. Getting home. Avoided mass transit. What is it? Born and raised in the Bronx. Oh, okay, so there you go. I was in your territory for 3 years. Keely Chow, how you doing? What's going on? We're just talking, having fun, enjoying us. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Is that what's the cat's name?
This is Stripe.
Hey, Stripe. Okay. Yeah, I'm a cat person too. I keep trying to get my cats to come on camera. They know when I go live, they run upstairs.
Oh, really?
If you're from New Jersey, did you get it? Oh, here you go. Tattoo questions. I wasn't going to ask about tattoos because I don't know anything about tattoos. If you're from New Jersey, did you get a lot of your ink around there or where you are now? I used to work for tattoo conventions or for a company in Philly, different type of con. I know.
I got my first first pumpkin right here in the Jersey. This one right here. I got that in the Jersey, and then
that's your first tattoo right here.
I got this one in the Jersey. That's the only one. I got this one in Dover, where I went to school at the Hubert School, like right down the street. But I'm trying to think. Did I get any more in the Jersey? I guess I didn't. I guess that's the only one I got when I was there.
My experience with tattoos is I wanted to get the Black Flag bars tattooed on my arm. The band.
Yeah, my wife has that.
I made the appointment, and I was so typical, right? I made the appointment. I sat down in the chair, and the guy was like, "Oh, wait a minute, you wanted to get?" And he had an index card with a dirty Band-Aid on the wall that was holding up the index card for my appointment. And it just gave me the skeeves. I said, I'm just going to go I just want to go put my keys in the car. And I got my car and drove away.
Oh, really?
That was the closest I got. So I actually went to college in the 90s and never got a tattoo. So there you go.
Yeah, my wife's got the Black Flag bars.
She does?
Yeah.
Where does she have it? On her arm or any place you
can? Yeah, she has it like right in here.
Okay. Yeah. And then I was toying with the idea of getting all like superhero logos, the Fantastic Four, the Spider-Man, the Doctor Strange, Eye of Agamotto, and the Superman, Green Lantern, like just one arm. And then over here, I wanted to get like all board games, but I just don't do it. I just never do. I can't. I always told myself if I could focus for 6 months and if that's what I want, that's what I'll get. But you
just gotta do it. You gotta strike it while it's hot.
Yeah, I know. My brother has a lot of tattoos, and then he has work over the tattoos, and there's no whiteout for tattoos. I was fortunate to be able to work from home with the shutdowns. Yes, that's one of the reasons why I left Queens. Was my friend group. My friend group wasn't coming out. So that was sad. It kind of broke up our D&D group, and then all the restaurants were closing. I literally called up my favorite Chinese restaurant, and nobody answered. So I I called up my friend Jeff. We drove to the Chinese restaurant, and not only was it closed, but like the ceiling tiles were ruined, and you could see like the light fixtures were removed and wire. I was like,
Oh no.
Jeff goes, I've known you for 20 years. I've never seen you like cry at your dad's funeral, but you were almost in tears at this Chinese restaurant.
No, I actually, I liked the idea from working from home. That's when I started to kind of, because I was, I was a college instructor for a while there, and I stopped doing that because I didn't like teaching on the computer.
Yeah,
And I was able to focus more on doing comics, which kind of got us to where we are today. That's why I kind of liked the lockdown. It kind of gave us some wiggle room to kind of be able to make as many comics as we have.
Like I said, for the lockdown for me, it didn't affect my work. I still went to work every day. It made work easier because there was nobody else on the road. But my wife worked from home, so I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment in Queens and coming home from work, and I had to be quiet because my wife was still working, and then the restaurants were closing, and then my friends were all like, "We can't go outside, we're gonna die." I was like, "I'm getting the hell out." I moved way out in Long Island, and I got my own driveway now, and I got a basement. My wife is upstairs right now working. I ain't bothering her. New Jersey and Philadelphians go to New Jersey to dump their garbage. I know it's like cool to dump on New Jersey, but man, I like New Jersey. My sister lives there. My sister lives in Cherry Hill. It's beautiful.
Oh, Cherry Hill is nice. Yeah, I love Jersey. I miss it. I probably would end up living there again if the taxes weren't so crazy.
Right. That's New York and New Jersey, it's just so expensive. Like they don't want the working class here. I'm a couple of years away from retiring. I don't know if I'd be able to live. I don't have sidewalks. I got a septic tanks. We got a tiny little house, but when I stop working, I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford this. I got to go someplace, that actually respects the average blue collar American. And New York and New Jersey don't respect it. I respect it. Well, here we go. Respect. Who gets the new bout? Oh, this is I can never name that band. You have that tattoo, or is he talking to Courtney? No, I think you don't know. Yeah, that's that little circular figure. I can never pronounce the band. That's in an industrial band. Every place has to have autoclaves for a while. Yeah. I'm talking. When I was thinking about my tattoo, it was like 91. Yeah. 80.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Things are different these days. It's not as edgy as it used to be.
No, back then you didn't really see a lot of tattoos, and it was like, my brother and his biker guys, they were giving each other tattoos.
Yeah, that's back when it was still a little dangerous. Now it's kind of like it's gotten a little bit more mainstream.
It's no big deal. My kid's kindergarten teacher's got a tattoo. Big deal. So now, do you have like your characters? Are you gonna get your kid's name tattooed? There you go.
I'm sure I probably will. I haven't even thought about it yet. I'm still kind of getting used to the idea of there's one on the way. But I'm sure I will end up doing that. That seems like a pretty legitimate thing to do, right?
Yeah. It's my brother's got all his kids tattooed on his arm, but not his wife. And he goes, "Doesn't matter what happens, my kids are still my kids."
Well, I have certain tattoos for my wife, so it's like my wife has red hair, so I have a red snowflake for her, and she's got the same one, but she's got a blue one.
Okay.
I guess because of my blue eyes, and then I also have this orange rat. For her. I know it's kind of an inside joke, but I got this for her too. And then I'm the blue cheese.
That's is that a G.I. Joe, that Cobra on your arm?
Yep.
Right there?
Yep.
So that was your cartoon. So He-Man, Transformers, Ninja Turtles. Was that like your youth?
Yeah, not so much Ninja Turtles. I did like the Turtles, but G.I. Joe, He-Man, Transformers, like that's the big one. Like those are that's the trifecta.
Oh
And
yeah.
then there's things like Mask and Silverhawks,
Oh my
Thundercats.
God, Mask. That's something I never would have thought of. My little brother was into Mask. I remember, I was the older brother. I had to take him out of the box, and put things together for him and
Mm-hmm.
give them to him, and he would break them because he was a little kid. But I never would have thought of Mask again. And they all had they were almost like GI Joes, but then they had rubber helmets.
Yeah, well, they're much smaller too.
Yeah, I remember. Oh my God, that's a blast from the past. You're probably the only person that. Do you remember Mac Men? Nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Mac Men.
Yeah, they were before GI Joes. Maybe it's like before your time.
Yeah,
but they were GI Joes for my age. They were little. They almost looked like Lego men, like they were boxy and square, and they had little holes on their feet so you could stick them into their. But they had Mac Mountain. I had the Mac Mountain. It was a big mountain play set, and you pivoted.
Was there a cartoon for it?
No, but there was an animated commercial for it. But before Mac-Man, they had the big GI Joes with the fuzzy head. Those were my older brothers.
Yeah, with the beard.
And then it seems like everything changed to super small. And then
there's two reasons, because once Star Wars came out and went to the 3 3/4 size, and then also there was that. It was basically like a plastics shortage that they couldn't really make the big Joes anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was that's why everyone kind of switched to that smaller size.
Oh, okay, that makes sense, because I remember I had my.
It was like 78, 79 that there was like an oil shortage, and I had to,
Jimmy Carter years. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had to kind of like reconfigure what they were making toy wise, so that's why a lot of the toys got smaller.
Oh, there you go. Politics affects toys. I personally like the smaller toys better. Like I remember having the $6 million man, the GI Joe. You look through the bionic eye.
Yeah.
You hit the button, and then this is gonna sound weird, but they were too dolls,
right?
They were too big, and they were like dolls.
I mean, I used to bust a chops of one of my old roommates from the school, because he collected the 12-inch action figures. But I was like, dude, those are dolls. Maybe if you can undress it, it's a doll.
Yeah. If the clothes comes off, it's a doll. Mac-Man, that big red plastic mountain. Courtney knows what I'm talking about. All right, Courtney, I got some backup. I like the Migos. Do you remember the superhero Migos?
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved them, and I was always obsessed with Marvel and superheroes as a kid. So at one point that was the only way to get superhero action figures. You don't say dolls to a.
Well, those were kind of the right before like it was like in between the 3 3/4, and then it was like in between
like
the doll size.
Yeah.
But those things are ugly as sin. I mean, if you look at them now, I went to a toy store just close to my house, Vintage Toy World, and he had a whole case full of them. And I was looking at them, and they're so ugly.
I have in my garage over here, I have big rubber bins filled with action figures throughout my whole life. I'm one of these shit hoarders. I never throw anything away. And then I married another shit hoarder, me and my wife. We had a 1-bedroom apartment, and we got a full-size moving truck. And the guys at the truck were like, "How did so much crap come out of that small apartment?" We're like, already the house is overstocked from one. But anyway, I still have all the toys, everything in bins, and I'm thinking of setting up my shed. I want to fix up my shed with shelves, because I don't do my lawn. I hire people to do my lawn. So I don't have a lawnmower. I have a beautiful empty shed, and I just love I'm going to run electric out to it, have a light.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Open it up, and it's just
like, well, I mean, if you're going to be retiring soon, you don't want to put too much effort.
I know. But that's what I'd be doing right now. If my wife would watch me like a hawk, I'd be outside cutting wood and fixing things. But you're not. Oh, the funny story I wanted to tell you about the Mego toys is, I had the Hulk, I had the Thing, I had the Fantastic Four, I had them all, but I always wanted Thor. I wanted to get Thor. For some reason I couldn't find Thor.
Mm-hmm.
And I was staying at my grandparents' house. I must have been 7 or 8 years old. I'm upstate New York at my grandparents' house, and we went to some big old store, and I always run to the toys, and they had Thor. And I got to go ask my 800-year-old Sicilian grandfather, you know what I mean? And the Thor toy had cloth clothes and long blonde hair. And I'm like, hey, Pop, can you buy this for me? And he goes, that's for girls. I never got Thor.
Oh, man.
Never even saw it again. There's these retro collectible places by me. And I still just like, I got to get this Thor just because Pop said no. And now I still never seen it. All right, the Subhumans playing? Oh, wow. Subhumans is a great old punk. Are you into punk at all? Are you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
No, I like before I went to the Cubert school, like I played in a punk band for a really long time, and like we toured the country. We put out a few albums.
Oh, what's the name of your band?
It was called Madcap.
Madcap. Did you guys play CBGBs?
No. I've been there a few times. That's still the craziest shit I've ever seen at a venue. But
I used to hang out at CBGBs all the time.
Being in that area, and then after CBGBs, what was the next place? Coney Island High was another good place over there on St. Mark's.
Yeah.
Place or
how about why are the names Sundance out in Long Island? I've seen a million bands out there. The Anthrax up in Connecticut, that was like a club owned by kids. It was so funny because they couldn't get a liquor license because literally you went to an industrial park and there was mechanics and tire repairs, and then there was just a club.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great because you didn't really bother the neighbors. There was no neighbors to bother, and you went in there and it was, the place ended up burning down. It was a death trap, but they couldn't sell alcohol, so they sold Jolt Cola. So a crowd of kids that come to see a punk rock band, every kid is chugging Jolt Cola.
Oh my God.
Kids would just literally nose just start bleeding from like high blood pressure. It was the greatest. I took my little brother. I must have been 18, 19, and he was like 11. And we saw Fugazi, and they were passing them around on the stage.
Oh wow.
Hey, Jim Riley's here. Jim Riley's doing the art for Crom the Destroyer right now. Amazing artist. Can't wait to see that. You played in a punk band. We played with Casualties, Blank 77, and you played with the Murder Junkies? Ooh, I tell my Gigi Allen story every once in a while. I break that out for special occasions. But
yeah, my band, like we played with the Casualties in Texas.
Oscar. I love those red circles. I didn't know they had toys of them.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
I didn't know. Well, did that Oscar doesn't live in the States. I wonder if that's one of those things because you're a toy guy. You know that the Marvel Secret Wars toys had different characters outside of the States.
I didn't know that. I know a company recently did like some of those old school the punk band.
Yeah, I think I might have saw the metal band. That's why I was like, did you play CBGBs? Oh, Gigi was dead at that point. Okay, so it was Merle. It was Merle fronting the Murder Junkies. What did you play?
I play bass.
Oh, you were the silent bass player.
Well, I played for a very long time. Like I started playing in bands, when I was 16, and I played in punk and metal bands like all the way up until maybe like 6 or 7 years ago, like not that long ago. Because I started when I was teaching, I was teaching and I was doing comic books and I was in a band and I was like, something has to give. I'm doing too much.
So what gets the best women? Comic books, teaching, or being in a band? I mean, you're doing everything to meet the chicks, man. Holy mackerel. That is awesome. Were you Did you have an album, Bright Lights, Big City? Heronberg wants to know.
So there was and you're talking about the metal band Madcap. There was two punk bands called Madcap. There was one from California and there was one from Florida. I was the one from Florida. So the Madcap that was from California started like right when we were basically done, which was like 99, 2000, 2001, around that time. So like when we were done, they started playing around, and I think that's who they're referring to probably.
Okay. I played a whole show at Tom's River with the Junkies. They were messed up on something. There you go. Well, that's Gigi Allen's band. The drummer stuck his stuff halfway up. Yeah. I saw them with the Mentors. So yes, it was ladies.
Tom's River. What Bigwig is from Tom's River.
Yeah,
that's a punk band.
I don't have the energy to go see these bands anymore. I booked punk bands in the early, and they had a weekly punk band on South Street. I know the California, but yeah, Courtney sent me videos of her singing with the band, right? That Courtney, that's you. You were singing. Yeah, when I lived in Albuquerque, Albuquerque was like on the path. Like all the bands that were from California to New York would stop in Albuquerque and vice versa. So we saw so many bands. And my buddy ran the club there, and killing me that I can't remember the name of the club. And he'd always be like, "Hey, you can stay at John's place. You can stay at John's." So we would have like bands just crashing on the floor at my house all the time. It was a lot of fun, and, and then once you start knowing the bands, they were like, "Hey, come see us for free. Come see us for free." So I'd go to California, and they're like, "Hey, John!" Like they would bring me to the front of the line. I wonder how all these guys.
Yeah, I mean, I before I went to the Cubert school, like I wanted to, play in a band for just forever. It seemed like, that was the thing I wanted to do. But, like we played with some pretty impressive bands. I mean, like whenever, like we had a booking agent that booked some pretty big bands like AFI, Lagwagon, No Effects, stuff like that. So whenever bands came to Florida, like we'd always get put on tours with them. So, like, I've in Madcap, we played and toured with bands like Misfits, Guar, AFI, 80 Fingers Louie, who's called Rise Against now. I mean, Alkaline Trio, Blink-182. I mean, like, we played with like everybody. Kid Rock. We even played with Kid Rock.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but but that was like late 90s, early 2000s. And then when I was around 21, I decided to go to the Cubert school. Like in high school, I went for a interview. I was going to go to the Cubert school right after high school, but the band was doing so well, I decided to just do the band. But then, things started to slow up. And at the time, I felt like 21 was too old to be in a punk band. And I was like, I need to get serious about my life. So
once you start stage diving and it hurts, it's time to move on. That's what I left.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, I was like, I'm too old to be doing this.
Oscar just sent this over. I never saw these before.
I've never seen those either.
Yeah, I've never seen these before. I'm just gonna make this big. I've never seen it. I love the Red Circle characters, and
I do too. I'm a big fan of the Fox and the Shield. I love the Shield.
Yeah. The Shield is the inspiration for our friend
Captain America.
Yeah,
he predates Captain America by like 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, like if I could get my hands on any of those characters, I would love to do a Fox comic.
Yeah, but these aren't public domain. These won't be public domain for a long time, right?
No, I mean, the Shield would probably be the first one at all those to be public domain. Yeah, the shitter at CBGB's, like if you took a dump at CBGB's, you should have got like a medal, because like that was there's no doors on any of the toilets.
Yeah,
actually, I think it was just one toilet. There's like a room with like graffiti.
Yeah, you didn't want to use it. And I remember at CBGB's, they would have to let you into the back to go down the stairs to the bathroom, and you'd pass where the bands were hanging out. I remember Sonic Youth was in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I just pretended to have to go to the bathroom. Then I walked back and I snuck in and I sat down next to Thurston Moore. And he must have been bored of the interview. And we just started talking. And he was the coolest, friendliest guy ever. And then I started to feel like, okay, I'm taking up too much of his time. Like I'm going to get, I just got like, and I excused myself. And then I legit went to the bathroom. And when I came back, he went, John. And he called me over and he sat me down and we talked. So I've always been like loyal to Sonic Youth ever since. And, you know, this was, I'm trying to remember what album it was. It was the album with Cool Thing. What was that? Goo? I've always been loyal to Sonic Youth. And we could admit it now. Kim Gordon was the worst part of Sonic Youth. They've been broken up for a while now. We can admit that. Yeah, the video you saw me singing with the punk rock karaoke. Yeah, from the Circle Jerks and Stan from the Dickies were on guitar. That's right. That's right.
Oh, yeah, punk rock karaoke. Yeah, I've been meaning to go see that. I guess they're a band. I don't know, like what you would call them. Like Whitney and I. Yeah, how about our music? Like we used to play a lot with how about our music as well. What was I gonna say? Whitney and I went to a licensing expo in Las Vegas, and it just so happened when we were there, punk rock bowling was happening, and I wanted to go. They had punk rock karaoke, which if you don't know what punk rock karaoke is. It's like the dude from Bad Religion, Circle Jerks, and it's like it's kind of has like revolving members, but it's like they know pretty much like every single like punk song.
They know all three chords.
Well, no, so it's like I mean you can get everything from like Bad Religion to Bad Brains to Sick of It All, Misfits, but it's a band and you put down your name and these professionals, you can just jump there and sing with them.
Oh wow! Everybody has a good story about Thurston Moore from Sonic Youth. He really is a stand-up guy. I heard he's a college professor now. Hey, Kim. Yeah, us sexist men are talking bad about the female bass players of the world. I met Keith Morris, yeah, of Circle Jerks, Black Flag on, yeah. So. I would love. I didn't know about this, but if I tell you, man, if punk rock karaoke came to my town, I think I'd get my fat ass back out and see a band and sing. I had the shaved head, and the Converse All Stars and the jeans with the super tight cuff on. I did the whole thing. Went to the hardcore matinee. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Because it's funny because I was like, either you're into punk rock or you're into rockabilly, because you got that rockabilly look too.
I'm not a big fan of the rockabilly. I mean, I like a couple bands. I like Tiger Army, but no, definitely. Cool. Right on.
Just I don't know why my feed will not show. I don't know. I'm getting shadow banned. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know how YouTube works sometimes. Well, most of the time. Oh, so you're not a rockabilly fan? I know. I love punk rock. I love rockabilly. I love ska. And just
I like punk rock a lot. Obviously, hardcore music. I mean, I think the last band. Yeah, that is very weird that Mike Vallely is in Black Flag now. I think the last band that I saw at CBGB's, I think it was Sick of It All and Madball at CBGB's. Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what was the last. But this when I was talking about living in Albuquerque, and the band. This is one of my roommates, Kevin, over here. He knows, and it. He knows he lived punk rock. That's all I got to say. Kevin, I miss Kevin. He was a good guy. We actually have a live punk karaoke band here for many years at a club called Howlers. Singers were able to choose from a list, but that sounds fun. Yes, it's Greg Hedson who does punk rock karaoke. Yeah, Greg Hedson is the main guy from Bad Religion, if I remember correctly, right?
No, that's Greg Graffin you're thinking.
Oh, Greg Graffin. There you go. There goes my punk rock cred. You still in Bad Religion? Yeah, she says right here he's in Bad Religion too for a bit on top of the circle. So he's in both. The singer for L7 stepped on my head. Some guys would pay good money for that.
Yeah.
There's one in Philly. So I didn't know that was a thing. That just shows you that punk rock is dead. That there's like franchise punk rock karaoke all over the country.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, what was the last CBGB show I saw? I don't know. I think it was the Rollins Band and Tool. Maybe that was
Oh
the last.
wow.
Yeah, yeah. So we've been talking for an hour, and I have to go with a comic book team up with RJ from the Fourth Age and Aaron Sparrow in a half hour. So I gotta wind down and prep for another live stream. Is there anything that I did not bring up that you wanted me to bring up?
No, I just wanted to come in and hang out. I mean, you're a good friend of Mike's, and
Yeah.
I like your show. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. This was a lot of fun, man. I enjoyed. I enjoyed talking to people about comics, but we also talked about punk rock and toys and stuff. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk about punk rock. There's a few things I could talk about forever. GI Joe, Transformers, comic books, punk rock, and wrestling. Those are the things that if you find me at a convention and you want to get a conversation going, you bring up any of those.
Those are the secret tips to get Patrick Yammering.
Yeah,
I tried to get into wrestling. Mike is into wrestling. You ever talked to Mike about wrestling?
yeah, of course.
Yeah. He knows. He tried it, and I was like watching it. I'm like, I don't like this, but God bless you. I like things that nobody else likes too. But I got to get going. I got to prepare for another live stream in 20 minutes. So it'll be here on my channel. It'll comic book team up with RJ from the Fourth Age and Aaron Sparrow in 20 minutes right here. Hey, Patrick, it was a blast. Come back whenever you want. I really enjoyed talking to you. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.